Hey everybody, and welcome to another Indie Film Cafe quick review Thursday, right?
Yes, you got the
Yay!
second time.
Haha.
This is the season finale,
hmm
actually.
That's right. As you can tell from my screen, I decided to go with an easy watch: Strippers versus Werewolves from
Why do you say it's an
2012.
easy watch?
Because it is what it is. It is what the title says it is. You can't expect much more than that. It's you already know you're going to just turn your brain to dumb because you know what's going to happen. It's going
Turn
to be a
your
bunch of
turn,
strippers fighting a bunch of werewolves. I mean,
turn your
it's
brain to duh.
yeah, but it's fun. It's silly. It's ridiculous. It's mindless entertainment. There's some dumb shit going on, but it doesn't matter because it's just fun. You
It's
know,
lock, stock, and two smoking barrels and a strip club with
two smoking
werewolves.
werewolves. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, had you seen this before?
No.
I'm
I think I've
surprised.
seen it on Tubi, like as a
Mhm.
recommendation or something, to me, or whatnot. And I know, like, I was like, wait, is this the one with Robert England? And yeah,
Yeah.
but there was
For
another
like
one
2 minutes.
he was in like Zombie Strippers or
Right,
something,
right.
and whatnot. So like, he's been in, this is, I think, a thing, but like, yeah, he's in it for like, but did you catch the ending of the movie? End after the credits?
Sure.
He's out, and so he's out of prison. So
hmm
it was setting up for a potential sequel, but I guess
Never happened,
I,
unfortunately.
yeah, I think it's kind of sad because like a lot of indie films just never get a sequel because they never really make the money back,
Well,
to
in this movie's case, I think that it's because two-thirds of the movie is a lot of fun and it's pretty strong, but the last third it just kind of waffles to the end, and at the ending, it's just kind of meh. It doesn't really
Are you
end the way
kidding me?
it
I
should.
love the third act of it. I love them fighting the werewolves. I mean, I kind of wish it was a little bit more choreographed, but
Yeah, it should have been
but
more
aside from that,
choreographed.
it was fun. Like I liked that they all got together and they decided like
I
we're
just wish the fighting had been better. It had been a little. It just didn't. It just didn't wow me at all.
I just wish they didn't kill spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, go watch on Tubi, then come back because we're about to spoil something. But I wish they didn't get rid of Carrie. Like I liked her, the magician
Mhm.
chick. I wish she
I
didn't. I
know
wish she knew everything that was going on and
there
was a
were a
part of it.
number of pretty. You know how I hate pretty girls getting killed, but Rita Ramnini is another one. She was the poor frightened girl, Chastity. She was like, oh. She was so sweet, and I
Was she the one
hated
that
her
like
being
came
killed.
in and saw the
Right,
murder
right,
and
right,
everything?
right.
Was like freaking out.
She kept between the three of us, four of us,
Yeah, and she's like the whole time like
freaking out. Yeah,
in a 40s or 50s movie, she would have been just slapped, and then maybe she would have been like,
I know. But she was so sweet. It would suck to see her getting killed. I
no.
mean, I understand there got to be people getting killed, but not the strippers, damn it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I actually kind of expected more strippers to be murdered, just because they did have a bunch in the strip club, which I mean, I was pretty impressed. Like, it had a like, okay, so you showed me a couple of movies with strip clubs that are pretty sad,
Mom's basement.
like, yeah, Mom's Basement. This looks like there's an actual club in
Right?
England, in London, and they used it. I did did love that they used stock footage explosion or whatever. Like they
Mm.
used it three times and it was the same explosion, or
You got
whatever.
to cut
Just
corners somewhere.
yeah, they can't. I mean, they had an explosion. It's kind of like the trauma rule of filmmaking. If you
Mm.
have it, use it, as much as you can.
And it's funny because I would have expected some American would have made this along the line, but it was a British production, and there's a bunch of British B movie people in there that I mean, everybody has seen from all over the place. Martin Kemp is probably the most famous. He's the guy in the beginning who gets the silver pen in the eye.
Oh,
And,
what was his name? Character name? I forgot because he says that at the end because the guy's so mad when he finds out that his girlfriend
Mickey,
was the one. Mickey.
yeah,
She
yeah, he
got
was
the
Mickey,
boyfriend got so or fiance got so mad like Mickey was
right?
a good guy. Ugh. you know.
Well, Martin Kemp used to be, he was the lead singer for Spandau Ballet back in the 80s, so that's where his big claim to fame
I'd
came
never
from.
even heard of that.
Yeah, This Much Is True, that was like their big song. And um,
Wait, I might have heard that song.
yeah, they had a few songs. And then he's famously was in a movie called The Krays, and he played Reggie Kray. And that kind of opened up doors for him, and he got into a lot of other movies, including Embrace of the Vampire. He plays the shitty vampire in that movie.
Wait, is that the one with Alyssa Milano?
Yep, yep, yep,
Yep.
yep, and
Okay.
yep.
Is she getting
And
naked in that movie?
oh yeah, yeah. I'm
Oh,
surprised I haven't show. I have to show it to you because it should be an indie film cafe.
I think I've seen it. That's why I knew
Hmm.
that that happened. It's just been a while. I remember seeing it at my video store and going, "What is this?" You know, it's Alyssa Milano,
Hmm.
and this is pre-internet days, so I was just like,
Right.
"Ooh." You know, I wonder if anyone shows her who's the boss, you know.
Well, Martin Kemp was also in a TV show in England that played for a long time called The EastEnders, and a lot of people in
Yeah, I've
this
heard of that.
production was in The EastEnders.
Oh, in
And
this production?
in this movie, yeah, there are a number
Yeah,
of people who
cool.
were in there. Um, so yeah, there's uh, I think Bill Murray was in there, and
Billy Murray.
Billy
Don't,
Murray, yeah.
there's a there's a difference. Billy Murray and Bill Murray are two completely different people.
Alan Ford, we mentioned Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He was in that.
Yeah.
He was in a yeah, just well, pretty much everybody who is in there is a veteran B movie actor and who've been in other movies, good A movies too in England. And it was definitely the strength of the film because I thought everybody was really, really well done. Everybody acted really, really well
Robert
in that film.
England in England.
Yeah, Robert England. Um, but yeah, what did you think of the characters and the acting?
I mean, it's B movie stuff. Like, I
Mm.
mean, I will say the thing did go quickly because it seemed like, it seemed like anytime things were gonna get too boring, you just skip to the next scene kind of thing. And so I didn't pause it too much. A
And
little bit.
I'm glad that they went with this as a comedy because clearly the werewolf outfits were pretty bad. They
I
were
mean,
not
yeah.
very believable werewolves.
I got a little confused. There's times where like the people knew that there were werewolves, and there were times when people didn't know didn't know that there were werewolves out there. So I'm like, are there just like they didn't like establish that there was like a group of people who knew about this or something,
Well,
you
and
know?
that's just it. It seems to be trying to establish a world where there are all these critters running around, like we've seen in many places before, because we have their buddy who's fighting, vampires at the
Yeah.
same time, and that was actually pretty darn
That
funny.
stuff, that stuff was fun because especially because the girl didn't believe it
Kept calling him
and
up.
stuff. She didn't believe any of the stuff he was doing all this stuff or whatever, I
Mhm.
guess. And then at one point, but then she would call him and ask him, like, if you were having to deal with a werewolf, would you just do this? And he's like, I'm kind of busy right now, and it's the and then there's one point where she was saying all these things and he's kind of telling her like he's fighting, whatever. And the vampire chick looks down at him and goes, what do you have to do to impress her? I motorbike.
And it was at that moment that I wished the film had gone in this direction and said, and he was like, "Hey, vampires hate werewolves. Why don't we put this on hold and you come help me kill some vampire or
No, because then it would
werewolves?"
be vampires versus
Yeah,
werewolves. And I like the idea that the strippers were coming to do that. I just wish there was more like lore with like I wish the strippers had been hunters or something, and that's what they,
well, that's what they
you know.
become into later on, I
Yeah, they
guess.
do at the end, but I wish that was the whole movie. Not with them
Hmm.
being werewolves at the end, which is the point of the movie, is at the end they're werewolves, right?
The
Like
stripper werewolves.
stripper werewolves. I don't know if they're strippers still, but they have stripper
God, I hope
outfits
so.
still. Uh, that on a full moon
I mean,
that
come
would,
on. What better of a strip club could you possibly have than a werewolf strip club? I mean, that would be awesome.
I don't know. I mean, it's funny because like this all of this period started with From Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm,
Like, you know, Quentin Tarantino and Rob Rodriguez made this little movie that took forever to get made and then finally made it. And then after that we get like zombie strippers, and then we get other vampires, you know, in the strip clubs kind of thing. We did one that's coming up for first time watch Fridays. My buddy Chad and I did reviewed a movie called was it The Devil's Den, you know, and it's
mm.
basically instead of being vampires, it's ghouls, you know, because you gotta, you know,
And
you can't do
I've
that.
got one I've been saving for IFC called uh, Vamps Deadly Dream Girls, which is kind of like a Z version of that whole trope I've been wanting to show you guys. It's just silly and bad.
Yeah, I mean it's become a thing where I mean strip clubs are already seedy enough, you know, but the idea that like they have like these terrible, horrible monsters that
Hmm.
can go inside them, and literally, I mean you know, I don't know how long it's been since you've been in a strip club, but it's
Long
like there
time.
are some disgusting looking people that go to those things, and that's the
Sure.
point, you know, that's what they like, and
Well, and they made a pretty good job about making all the strippers individuals and making them kind
Mhm.
of fun and interesting
I
and
liked
nice.
Raven. She was my favorite.
They were all nice. I
But
can't say I didn't like any of them.
she was the chick from Hostel. So she
Right,
got her
right, right, right.
big stuff from Hostel. And so she was wonderful in this. And Barbara, I can't even pronounce her last name. Sorry, Barbara. Can't do it. So I'm not even gonna try. But she was wonderful.
Netta Jakov.
Did not sound right, but all
Netta
right.
Jakov, yeah.
All right, poor girl.
Or
That's
Nedeljkova, that's what it is.
Chakova. I don't think it's Jackov.
Nedeljkova.
Anyway, so yeah, she was wonderful, and so was you know, so was the girl who played the girl that got attacked against Justice was her name,
Justice, yeah. And
and
or Liz. She was called Liz a few times too.
she was Liz. I thought I heard somebody call her another name, Lucy, or was that another
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah, I
So
got a little confused there too.
yeah, because there's another girl named Lucy, or that was what somebody called her. So I think there was a little mess up on that, but I
Hmm.
really liked her. I thought she was cute,
Adele Silva, she was good.
and then she became a werewolf at the end because she
She was a
bit,
cute little werewolf.
which was an interesting little twist.
Mm.
Where if because I never thought about it, if you gave a hickey to a werewolf, do you become a werewolf? And
Apparently.
that's apparently that's where they went with this,
And
which
it's funny because they were like, no girls allowed.
yeah, no girls allowed. Well,
What?
sorry, you
And
know.
then they said we can't reproduce, which is interesting. So I don't know. I guess they figure why bother? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean I love the idea that this was like a gangster thing, you know,
Mm.
and the gangsters are also some gangsters are werewolves, the other gangsters are not, and there's just other stuff going, you know, like this is just a perfect kind of mesh of different stuff into it, you know,
Yeah,
for
it's, I guess part of the thing at the end is, I guess when they have the explosion, which is supposed to mirror the explosion back in 1984, which starts the whole process, and they all get blown into little squirmy bits that he has to run around and put the squirmy bits of the bad vampires into jars, but he leaves the other ones alone so that they can reform themselves because they became werewolves before the explosion. How does he know which squirmy bit belongs to which person? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
There's some
No,
there's some stuff towards the
well,
end that just
that didn't really matter to me because I was just like, that's a job I don't want to do, you
she's
know.
like, oh, poor what's her name? She had nice legs. Did you find the other one? There it is.
Yeah, and then she holds up the leg. I thought that was kind of funny.
So it had some humor to it that I liked, and it had gore of a kind. It wasn't the greatest, but it was interesting, and it had some good stuff, some decent special effects, it had some cheesy special effects. But yeah, this is just like this is like an easy B movie. This is
And I
we
like that
want
guy
a B movie.
Franklin a lot. He was the He was the guy that had to like dispose of the
Yeah,
body
he was the
originally.
the bouncer, the nice bouncer.
Bouncer, and he was pretty funny. He had some great stuff. Like he was dating one of the girls, and then she comes to see him, and
Danny.
he was like, been eaten by all the werewolves, and so they come after her, and she goes to Raven's house, and Raven ain't having that. So, so
Yeah.
was it she has the like I guess they have to use her tanning bed that she has in her house or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about that either. I guess it's because it's supposed to be sunlight and
well,
it,
sunlight doesn't really affect. That's vampires, right? Like
yeah.
werewolves, it's moonlight affects it. But daytime, it doesn't affect it. It's like if the moon is gone and the sun's taken over, that's one thing. But the moon's still out there, So
Mm,
like, and so yeah, so some of the lore is a little weird and a little off. It did look like this was like based on some kind of graphic novel or
mm.
comic book because they put in the images of a graphic novel into it. So maybe there's more to it that is more understood than that.
And did you notice at the end when they become the hero werewolves, which was, by the way, a great title for the sequel would have been Hero Werewolves.
Hero werewolves, yeah.
But Lizette Anthony is the chick who gets saved, and I had a huge crush on Lizette Anthony way back in the day, so that was kind of nice to see her pop in
What
there.
did she do that you knew of?
Oh gosh, she was in a whole bunch of movies. I think probably the most famous for her would have been Krull. I don't know if you ever saw
Oh,
Krull.
yeah, oh no, Kroll, yeah, there's
Yeah,
Kroll.
Krull. She was the beautiful, very, very, very beautiful princess in that. And then she was in a bunch of TV shows and Lovejoy, and she was in the Oliver Twist series and Jack the Ripper and a few other things. So she was in a lot of TV stuff, but it was just nice to see her because we didn't really see her on our side. Dracula Dead and Loving It, she was in that too. She was Lucy.
No, it's not something to put on your resume
I
though.
know.
I love Leslie Nielsen, I love Mel Brooks, but oof,
It was bad.
yeah. But anyway, it did have a couple good lines of that movie, but
Mm.
all in all, it was a pretty terrible movie.
And
Um,
then like they like Robert England when he's playing Tapper, and I guess he was, I don't know, I guess he was in jail from the bomb explosion, and he'd been in there, and they said, oh, you haven't been eating and blah 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 blah, and they have this whole scene about who's the alpha, and then finally he's like, oh, send in a guard, I'm feeling hungry. Well, he doesn't.
yeah, he does. The guy just leaves.
He just
Like
leaves.
the guard just closes the door. But then at the end of the movie, you see that the guard is dead and he's leaving. So after the credits roll, so it's
Something
setting up. I
happened.
guess he would be the big bad that they have to deal with if they got more money to make the sequel.
Right.
You know,
All his buddies are in little squiggly jars, so
yeah, he has to find them and collect them and put them back together again, I guess. Or just get a whole brand new group of werewolves. Just make them, just gotta bite people and turn them
right.
into
Or be bitten by people.
or or yeah, or yeah, or be bitten by people, yeah. So either way. But yeah, all in all, it was eh,
And
you know.
it didn't have a lot of nudity. I kind of expected there to be a little bit more, but there was some.
There was a
But
little bit of nudity, there's a little bit of
there's
toplessness.
strippers. I mean, that's kind of par for the course.
Somebody said like in an IMDb trivia or something that there was no, or maybe it was in the Wikipedia, but there was no actual like stripping in the movie. Like there
Hmm.
might have been people topless or people dancing,
Right.
but there was actually no stripping. If you ever notice that. So that's I guess the dancing part she would have probably stripped, but that one the Mickey got a little got a little hungry before any of that stuff actually happened. And he had a there's a really terrible joke about the boner the whole time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there becomes like a part where like he's in the bag and they're like, oh, he's like the guy's like uh it's a boxing dummy thing, or
Right.
whatever. And so they're like, oh, why is it
Bob.
got an erection,
It's a Bob.
and what?
He was calling it a Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah. And so he's like, why has he got an erection? And like that became a joke. And I was like, how can they fucking see an erection through that bag? Like that doesn't, I'm like, they must be like good strippers. Like,
Well, and the same thing like at the end when, the werewolves come to the whole point of them going there is to kill the strippers, and instead they sit down and watch the show and let the girls do their little dance number. I'm like,
hmm
I thought you were there to like do something, and instead they're just like, oh no, 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 and because like they were like starting, and the main guy's like, oh no, just let them go. I'm like, okay, you kind
Yeah,
of
I thought they were there to kill
set
the
yourselves up for
strippers.
that.
I mean, and that's another thing that I don't like in movies, where it's so like sort of like people are giving people time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy was talking to the Jeanette chick, and talking and walking to her, and I'm like, this is the time where you shoot the fucker. Like, he's
Yep.
talking to you. Take out your gun with your silver bullet and shoot him in the head. And then apparently there is no bullet or something. There was I didn't get that. I don't know why there wasn't a bullet in the chamber. But she ends up like setting the guy up, like exploding him on while she like electrocuting him and then
Mhm.
setting the fire or whatever and then
And she
killing.
survived that. I'm like, no.
No, she survived it. I thought it would have been better if she died, in
Mm.
that because it just would have been like it would have given her more of a like, hero
Yeah.
character,
If he got crisp, she definitely would have gotten crisp.
right?
So it's a little inconsistent, but
Yeah.
it's
Um,
I still kind of liked it. I still kind of dug it. It's silly. It's ridiculous.
I
It
don't
was
know how much
fun.
I'd watch it again, like only if like somebody really hadn't seen it and was like, "Let's watch this." I
Mhm.
don't think I care about it. Like it's one of those movies where I've seen it and I'm glad I watched it, like and have seen it, but I don't need to ever see it
I
again,
I just like some of the individual characters that
I like the actors. I'd like to see more stuff
yeah.
that they did, but I don't
Well,
really care about I don't me personally, I don't care about the characters and who they
I
were.
imagine that's probably why a lot of the reason why this didn't go on to get a sequel, because I think most people were like, it was okay to see. I don't need to see more.
Yeah, and that's the problem with building a universe like this and stuff like that is just and setting things up and everything is you got to make it really cool. You got to make things interesting and shit happening. And unfortunately, I just don't feel like there was enough of that to like warrant like if they like tried to make a strippers versus werewolves TV show, I'd be like, yeah, like I don't want to see anymore. They're
Well, yeah, they'd have to put more thought into the lore. They'd have to set things up a bit more. I think you could do it. I think it would be fun. I just not sure these are the folks who, the writer and director are the folks who are the ones to pull it off, though.
I mean, the director's gone off. Like he had directed this movie and then hadn't directed anything yet, and now he's got something. What was it? He had some
It's Jonathan
movie.
Glendon.
Yeah, Jonathan Glendon. He is doing. What is he doing?
He did Nightwolf. I haven't seen that, so I want to see that.
So his upcoming project is called Tsavo, and it is a visceral, character-driven action adventure set in the red dusts of Africa.
Hmm.
So at least he's doing
Okay.
something different, that will probably maybe that'll be his
Oh
next,
shit!
big thing.
This guy did what I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do all the time. La Belle Dame Sans Merci. I've been dying to do that movie or do that poem into a movie. He's already done it. Son of a bitch!
Maybe
You
you can watch
bastard!
it. I don't know. And I
No,
don't know if that's a feature or a short.
probably a short. You
Short
couldn't make a
film,
full
yeah, it
movie
says
on it.
short film up there on the picture.
Ah, you bastard!
Well, you can still do it. It's probably public domain, you know,
Yeah,
poetry. So
yeah, but I wanted to be the first.
Keats. Oh, sorry, man. He bust that cherry before you did.
Well, maybe if I put some strippers in it.
I don't think he did either.
No, I don't
So,
think so.
I think he really treated it real. But yeah,
A
he,
werewolf.
ended up doing this movie and I don't think it was terrible. Like it wasn't this isn't like a stinkometer kind of movie, like a top of the
Nah, this
stinky.
is in between. This is more
This
like
is
a
kind of like a
5.
meh, you know.
Yeah.
Like I thought it could have been so much cooler. Like I feel like that world should have been more evolved and
What did you think of the use of the split screen, the multiple split screens?
yeah, it kind of annoyed me after a
Yeah.
while because they did it too much. If they
A
had
little
done
too
it
much.
once, if they had done it once or something, I've been like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because then it got very comic booky, like it still did that, but like it did a couple too many times, and I'm like, all right, so
It
if
was
this,
a little like trying to say it was trying to be like Sin City.
yeah, maybe. I guess Sin City had already been out about that time, so
Mm-mm.
yeah, I get it. I didn't really do anything for me. I'm not into those kind of things. Like me personally,
Mm-mm.
and everything. Some people really dig that stuff. I think it's really cool. I just think it's kind of it. If I have to pay attention to like three boxes, I have to see what's go. You know what I mean? Like it gets like my ADHD cannot take that shit. So it just doesn't
Take
do
your
anything.
Ritalin.
And like wait, what's
Yeah,
going
no,
on
it
there?
doesn't bother me, but it does. It did happen a couple too many times. So, but I
Yeah.
like it. I like folks who are willing to go beyond point and shoot. You know what I mean?
They
I
put
thought it
some
was
thought
good.
into it. It's just, it's okay. It wasn't my
But
thing.
anyway, this is sitting there on Tubi for anybody who's interested. So
Yep,
check it
it's
out.
there. You can go watch it right
Hmm.
now if you like. I mean, we're not
Absolutely.
telling you that it's a bad movie or anything. We're telling you it wasn't my cup of tea. I think it was more of Paul's cup of tea than it was mine.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And and I can see why he would pick this, for Quick Review Thursday, because I just don't think we
Yeah.
could talk a whole hour about it.
I just wish because we both have a similar background that you'd actually seen that, like the chicks with guns and swords and axes fighting werewolves, but that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I mean that promo right there for both of us having looks very fake. Like it doesn't actually happen in the movie. There's
Uh,
like I mean it happens at the end, I guess,
Sort of, kind of.
sort of kind of, but it like I wish it was a bunch of strippers who were hunters originally, and that was their goal was to find werewolves inside the strip club, you
Especially
know?
if they're hunting and stripping at the same time. How
That's what
awesome
I'm
is that?
saying. Like they're in the strip club and they're going around murdering werewolves that were,
Maybe that's their
they're-
thing. Maybe they could hunt the creatures of the night while they're strippers, and they get the ones coming into the club.
now that I would watch.
There
Now,
you
if they
go.
changed it around to be like that, like if they did a TV show that was like that, I would be all for it. But right now, as of the way it is, it's kind of boring, like a lot of the strip club stuff was kind of boring. And I was like kind of wanting to go back to the werewolves because at least they had a little bit of personality and, they were just going around murdering people, which was kind of fun, to watch in there. But in this, it was,
Yeah, but I like
even
the
though I
color.
didn't actually know, now I take that back because there's that scene with them just staring at some wall that had
Right?
this chick, and I'm like,
They
what
were
you can,
peeping.
yeah, but I'm
They were
like
gross.
they're peeping wolves, and
Masturbating. I was like, yeah, I don't need to see that.
yeah, well, thank God he didn't whoop it out or anything. He was doing it in his
Pretty
pants, but
lady.
yeah, it was so dumb. I didn't like it. It was so annoying. I was like, that scene they could have cut, and I would have been okay with it, But and I think the movie would have been okay. Like they didn't say anything in those times that you know they needed to share that. You know what I mean? That they couldn't,
Mm.
and
You
they could
already
have done that
didn't
anywhere
like them
else.
because they killed a couple of nice girls that were
Yeah.
really sweet.
But I liked them because they did have a little bit of personality and stuff.
Mm.
And I did like the Red Riding Hood, Big Bad Wolf thing that they were doing with it, where they come out with the red capes and stuff and look like Red
Actually,
Riding Hood.
I think my favorite thing at the end is when they're hunting for who killed Mickey, and they come across that one guy, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna save me! You're hero werewolves who protect the innocent." And the guy's like, "No, we're just regular werewolves," and then they kill him. I
Yep,
thought that was cute.
that was cute. Yep. So it was an entertaining movie, but all in all, wish there was a little bit more time and effort put into it as far as like, the writing and
A little
the
sloppy. Could have been
the
better.
direction, yeah, and the lore and stuff like that. But you know, like I said, it went fast enough where it didn't bore me or anything.
Yeah, the
I
narrative was quick and fun, and the acting was really good. The girls were really, really, really good. And I had a lot of fun with them. It's I hated to see any one of them not be around
right,
because they were all very charming and cute and fun in their
exactly,
individual way.
exactly.
So,
Well, I guess that's about it for
yep,
this
that's about
season.
it.
We'll be back next year for a brand new season of Quick Review Thursday. I'm pretty sure because we've been liking. I like doing this. A lot of times I don't do my episodes with Paul because Paul just got too much other shit to do. He can't do this and mine and everything else.
Right,
But
I was in the
sometimes I
garden as
do.
we speak.
Sometimes we do. What?
I said I was in the garden as we speak.
Yep. So I really appreciate you taking your time to do this with us and have this out. So thank you guys. Check it out next. Come back next year for the brand new episode. I think it's gonna be in January. We'll start again. So thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back.
And don't forget to tip your strippers because they might be a werewolf.
That one guy didn't only tip $5 or £5.
5 pounds.
I thought it was quid.
Yeah, same thing.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah.
A
Thank,
fiver, you bastard.
yeah. Cheap bastard.
Yeah, it was cute.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. Talk
Bye.
to you later. Bye.